crickets, and welcome back to I Have a Story. While I'm talking about myself, this week I really was trying to take a break from that. The past few weeks I've been trying to take a break because it's been hard and I want to talk about it. I need to reset for a moment. But I want to show you who I am. When I was a teenager and wanting to get out of the restaurant business, but still not quite wanting to grow up yet and go get a real job, I had my couple years that I said, you know what, I'm going to live and party. I'm going to live and go out and see the world. I'm going to live like a dumb graduated high school kid who wants to go out and just have fun. Because you know what, we actually do deserve that. So much to talk about, so much. And even in myself, I was such a smart kid, but at the same time, I never took stuff seriously. I can't say I didn't take stuff seriously. I didn't seem like it. I made everything a joke. Everything was fun. Everything. I made everybody laugh. And all I wanted to do was play. Part of being a kid. And not being able to be a kid at home. All of it. But, alright, this video I want to talk about, this really the person I am. When I was a teenager trying to get out of the restaurant business and trying to find something else to do, I'd taken some business classes, learned about sales, and there was these jobs that used to get posted back in the day, and you get a phone number in the Toledo Blade or in the Herald or in the, what was the other one? The Trading Post, in the job section in the Trading Post. We had these job listings that would pop up from time to time. And it wouldn't tell you exactly what they were. And you find out when you actually show up and go through the whole sales pitch they give you. Well, one of those jobs I ended up taking and didn't know what I was getting myself into until after I arrived in the office and saw what my job was actually going to be. They just put in the advertisements, demonstrators. We need demonstrators wanted. If I remember correctly, we're going back over 30 years ago. It was something like demonstrators wanted and stuff like that they would post. And okay, I go demonstrate products. Sure, that sounds like fun, right? So one of them was the Filter Queen vacuum cleaner. Does anybody remember the good old Filter Queen vacuum cleaner? I don't know if they're still out today or not. But they threw me the whole sales pitch. And back then, over 30 years ago, this vacuum cleaner was like $1,200 or $1,500 with accessories, and it was ridiculously priced. Back then, you could almost buy a brand new car for the same price as this vacuum cleaner. No, you couldn't, but $1,500 over 30 years ago was a lot of money, especially to spend on a vacuum cleaner. But it did do some really cool stuff, especially for 30 plus years ago. Oh my God, an oil diffuser and a vacuum cleaner? Gotta have that. Wait, I can let that sit there and run and not vacuum the floor and it'll clean the air and be an air purifier too? Oh, that's amazing. I want clean air. The sales pitches, and it was a pretty cool item for way back then. Not worth $1,500, but here was my problem. So I decided I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to try it out. You can't ever say no unless, you gotta try it, right? My very first sales that they sent me out on, and being the low on the totem pole, fresh newbie in the door, you don't go to like people that they think you actually have a chance to sell one to. They're not going to send the newbie to somebody who makes $300,000 a year and has the money to afford one. No, we're going to send you down to people who don't even have jobs. And my first demonstration was to, hi Bubbies, hi buddy. I know, I love you too, bud. My first demo was to a family that husband and wife, 3 kids, living in a slum, no car, no jobs. But after I walked in and people start talking. You don't know this when you walk into somebody's front door of their house and you start talking. And I'm a very personable person, and people open up and just talk to me. So they're telling me about themselves and blah, blah, blah. And he's got a job interview coming up and blah, blah, blah. And they can't afford a car, so they're trying to figure out how they're going to get him to work so that he can get a job. That is one of the staples of life, right? Got to have a car to get to work, but you got to have a job to get the car. And unless you've got parents to help you and not steal your cars like I did in life, how do you even make it happen? And I still had to do it even with my parents stealing what I was doing on my own. And I wasn't even selling drugs or anything illegal. I was out wrenching on cars and working ethically to earn my money every step of the way. Never mind. So, my first sale, my first demonstration, I threw the pitch and they bought it. And they said they wanted to buy one and they wanted to fill out the application. And I looked at them and I said, wait, hold it. And I'm telling you, people, I was what, 16 at the time? I want to say I was 16 years old. I looked at them and I said, wait a second, you guys are going to buy a $1,500 vacuum cleaner. You can't afford a car. You don't know how he's getting to work. If he gets the job, because nobody here even has a job, and you've got 3 little kids in the house, and your mentality and decision making is going to be to buy a $1,500 vacuum cleaner. I would not hand them the application, and I told them no. You people need to buy a car. Oh my God. And how, I mean, to tell you who I am, this is my mentality at 16 years old. I was 16 years old running a pizza restaurant where the 40-some-year-old guy who was running it, 50-some-year-old guy who was running it, they canned him and let me as a teenager, fresh in high school, I was still in high school, run his restaurant because I was that smart. Look where it's all gotten me. I was that applied. I cared that much. So much that even when it came to I need to make money, and I thought I was going to try to make this job work until my very first demonstration. Holy Jesus, I wouldn't sell it to him. I told him, no, you people need to buy a car. And I walked out, went back to the office, dropped off my demo sweeper and said, this job is not for me. I am not a salesman and I refuse it. And that's the only time I've ever done a sales job in my life. I shouldn't say that. There was one other time, but I'll talk, because that's another job that, always so many stories. I worked at the Futon Gallery in Sylvania, Ohio. And I did end up becoming a salesman there, but I was a warehouse worker and they lost all their employees, and I just, in order to keep the doors open, if I'm the only employee, I've got to do it all, and I started doing sales too. But that didn't last long either. But well, that's stories for another day. But yeah, that's to tell you who I am and who I've always been. Morals above money every time. And all people do is take advantage of that. And I look around me and at all the poor decision making that goes on. This, again, we've got an app on our phone that you can't afford living, but you need a $1,500 phone that does absolutely nothing more than a $35 phone does. They're all the same. And they really all should be the same, but they all do the same damn thing. There's nothing special about it other than the American image that I'm somebody because my phone costs $1,500, but don't look at the fact that I can't afford to live. Ignorance. Oh my God. And this proves, like, I mean, over 30 years ago, people were that dumb. I can't afford a car, don't know how, I don't even have a job, and don't know how I'm going to get to work if I can get this job. But yeah, sign me up for a $1,500 vacuum cleaner. And I didn't do it. I told them no. And I walked out the door and turned it in, and that was my only demonstration I ever did. Because that's who I am.